Been a while since I've been starting the show. Roast Mortem, welcome everybody. My name is Tom.
It's been a while, Travis.
I am your musically uninclined Cody. Hello.
You know who else is musically uninclined? Big ol' Mike, because he's a big ol' no-show.
What's he doing?
I think that he's probably licking stamps.
He could be licking stamps. It's not beyond him. He's his roommate, aka my brother-in-law, now has the old COVID. So I told him to stay home. Get that shit out of here.
Stay home with that diseased person.
Yeah, well, I know they sleep in bunk beds, so make sure that your brother-in-law sleeps on the top bunk.
Yep.
So he
breathes.
Can rain COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. Look, either way, guys, it's the three of us, old school. It's the old school. Where Travis is back in Huntington.
Yeah.
Although he's not here because he's also dealing with making sure he doesn't bring COVID to my house.
Yeah, I'm in Huntington, but I'm not with my Thomas right now. But I am with some pizza that I ate.
It's great. I'm so glad that you're back here. Look, Cody, you're still out in Hawaii. It's not your fault.
Yeah, I know.
Right. So with that being said, Cody, let's start with you. How was your week?
OnlyFans changed their terms of service. The actresses can't say daddy anymore. So,
what?
Yeah, I've just been really bored. On an unrelated note, I finished this week's research early and got my taxes done ahead of time.
That's a first.
But, just a lot of free time nowadays. It's awkward.
Yeah, it sounds weird. A lot of free time over there out in Hawaii, an island paradise.
Especially now this OnlyFans terms of service change, but whatever.
See, when the ladies aren't allowed to say daddy to you, you get business done. You get your taxes done.
Yeah, I guess.
Is that right?
I guess.
Daddy needs to work. Shut the fuck up.
I'm trying to memorize a date. Get out of here.
I can't do that.
Good.
It's too tricky for me.
Very
Not
tricky.
enough blood in my head.
Right. Travis, what about you, sir? What have you been doing? How was your week?
Well, I'm back into the small apple, Long Island. I got on very dangerous travel through the COVID plains. So I had to go get my nose fucked with a little tiny rod.
Right.
I'm just waiting to hear my results back. But this is a landmark episode because this is the stinkiest I have ever done the show.
Yeah?
I haven't showered in days, and I've been cleaning out a basement and a garage filled with rat droppings and mold. So I'm stinky. Okay. This is a ripe Travis.
Would you say this is going to be... Well, all right, so you're covered in sweat, you're stinky, all that crap. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of our listeners kind of envision you dabbling in this often, this kind of behavior, for funsies.
Well, you know what? I'm a shower boy. I shower all the time. Like, I stink, which is why I shower all the time.
What are you showering in?
Well, it's yellow. It comes out warm.
I feel like I'm going to find, your shower head hooked up to, a garlic aioli tap or something like that.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm glad to have you back here. Yeah. Well, we're going to hang out next week after after Joe Biden writes you a letter of recommendation to come over.
It's important.
I've sent him a wax sealed letter. Mr. Biden, can I do my show with my brothers?
Good old Stumbly Joe.
And he's
can't open it.
And he's like, come on over here and touch my blonde leg hair. Tom, how was your week?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, well, not too eventful. I got a pair of pants in the mail that I ordered. Turns out that as loud as I like my shirts, I'm a quiet-legged man. Okay. You guys know I like wearing my Hawaiian shirts and just being that guy and having a fun time.
Yeah.
Middle of winter, Hawaiian shirt. On
Aloha shirt, right, Cody?
Aloha.
Yeah. I didn't want to kink the podcast up with that tangent, but yeah.
Yeah, that hate speech. But look, I decided to buy a pair of patterned pants that they're like checkered, but not like they're like what an Irishman would wear, like in 1830.
Oh, like off plaid.
Yeah, like I'm just having a fun time. I put them on and I'm like, these are really comfortable. I have quiet legs, though. This is not working.
You
That like
need a
it's
silencer for your legs.
It's been all fashion. Another thing fashion related for myself is that I have decided I haven't gotten a haircut in a long time. I've decided to let my hair grow into a ponytail. You see, I want a ponytail, and the reason I want one is because they're disgusting. And I'm getting older, right? And I need to get accustomed to this idea of becoming old and gross.
Oh, you're weaning yourself into like geriatrics,
right? Exactly. Like I don't even like the idea of having one. I mean, that's why I'm getting it. You know, I don't like the idea of doing push-ups, but that's why you do it.
Yeah, Tom, that's good prep for when you start to lose your hair, because that's the best time to do the ponytail. Show them that you still got some hair, but you might be bald on top.
I am 100% a proactive skullet enthusiast. I don't know if I'll get there, but what I'm saying is that I'm letting it go, and I'm going to be gross, and I'm going to have fun, and you can't stop me. You just can't.
And the thing is, like when you're finally sick of the ponytail, you can cut it off and like give it to a merkin maker, and they'll hook you up because it already matched. It's the carpets and drapes already matching there, my friend.
Right. I mean, like, guys, I have for just so the listeners know, like, I did try to have a little bit of a dreadlock in high school.
Oh yeah,
and it didn't go very far. My dad yelled at me every day. He said, "That's
wash your hair."
He's just like, "That's not how it is like that." Something like that. Something that really resonates with me. Either way. I once listened to an In Flames song, and I was like, this is a good idea. Now, that's about it on the fashion update for Tom. I got quiet legs. I'm going to look like shit in a year and a half's time. Guys, who's on the chopping block today? Cody, I believe you
did the research. Yes. Yeah. It's me. I did the research. We're going to do a fucker tonight. His name is Charles Lewis Blood, more commonly known as Seal Blood.
Is he related to R.L. Stein? I got to ask the question.
No, I'm sorry. The letters and mismatching surnames mean they're not related.
I don't know. He might be a brother-in-law related through marriage.
What about CM Punk? He's a wrestler.
That's closer, but still mismatching surname.
Oh, he's related to CM Punk and R.L. Stein? Wow, what a family get-together.
CM Stein. That's like...
CM Stein.
That sounds really gross. That sounds like Brazzer's first orthodox feature, if you would.
All right. So, just to titillate some of you guys and the listeners, tonight's episode is fucking banger. We got the illicit use of laughing gas. We got some good old dismemberment, and we got Boston accents up in this episode, boys.
Oh, that's fun.
Like that's Matt a good Damon, combo,
right?
Like Donnie. Heart-a-tar-ta-tee-ta-tar, Donnie.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Sounds so Boston.
Wait, are we
gonna idea or no?
Can we actually just listen to Flogging Molly or no Dropkick Murphys the entire time?
Shut out of Boston. Imagine like being not the Red Hot Chili Peppers and writing about your city nonstop. Like, how sick in your head are you?
I know, fucking Frank Sinatra. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
and the Dropkick Sons. Cody, tell us about Blood.
We got a medical quack episode, boys.
Oh boy,
I want you to brace for that. What was the last one we did?
Was it Brain Boy?
The
Brinkley?
Goat testicles?
Oh, really? No, we've done someone. Well, that was one of the best episodes in the history of the world.
It's good, yeah, man.
I don't know. I feel like we're missing someone. Cody, you always bring in people that are poking at brains and shit.
Yeah, I know, but I think I haven't done it in a while, so that's why I'm excited.
Right.
We're doing a medical quack right now.
We have momentum already.
Yeah, Charles Lewis Blood was born September 8th, 1835 in Groton, Massachusetts. Chuck's father was a respected farmer and timber dealer and handyman, so he's kind of like this jack of all trades.
Is that where potatoes au gratin comes from? Because I love those.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's probably French.
Groton.
Yeah, well, Massachusetts is closer to France than we are right now.
What? We're on Long Island. It's right underneath
His childhood and early adulthood are sadly undocumented. The hijinks only start when this guy's in his 30s, and I see a pattern going. I'm like, why can't I find anything on, these these medical quacks' childhoods? And the answer is they couldn't become a medical quack if they had a documented childhood. Because this guy, we don't know what he was doing in his teens and 20s. He can say, oh, I was getting my medical degree.
It's like
I was
Jesus.
getting my license. Yeah, you drop off a grid, you can say whatever happened then, and then boom. You're, the story sticks. The profile upholds.
Right.
What
you could
happens
just
in
be like-
childhood stays in childhood.
Yeah, I mean, you could just show up in your 30s and be like, yeah, my mom didn't fuck, but I fell out.
Jesus Christ. Lots of fun.
So, there you go. So, in lieu of going over his early life, we're just going to do a quick history of the drug known as nitrous oxide.
Yay!
You guys Yay! Yay! And just to set the mood of what nitrous oxide is being used for in this lovely day and age, I should have...
Pull up the chart.
Yeah. Picture for Tom and Travis in the chat. And if you guys could paint that for the people at home of what's going on right there.
Oh, see, that's how it... See, we just transitioned from the flogging Dropkick Murphys to a fish show.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Deep cuts, but explain those for the audience at home.
So nitrous oxide, amazing gas that you can buy from a hippie at a fish concert. That's part of a hippie mafia that controls your large tanks of laughing gas. And you buy a balloon and you put it in your mouth. You suck the laughing gas and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never thought I would hear the term hippie mafia.
There is a hippie mafia. Apparently, some guy was selling nitrous at a fish show, and he wasn't allowed to. These guys are from, like, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So they took the guy, and they hooked a nozzle up to their tank and fucking iced him with just laughing gas. Like, oh, you want to sell this shit? They fucking plugged him in.
Damn. So that's murder. Look,
Yeah.
that's fine though. Peace and love. Frogs on a peace sign.
And the picture I just showed is pretty much the 1800s version of what
Right.
Travis was saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I actually describe it though? Because Travis,
do
as
it.
much as you
Lay
painted
it
a
out.
picture,
Lay it
you
out.
did no
Yeah.
justice to this visual. Now there's 4 midgets in a room with a
I don't know why
terrible
they're that
carpet.
short.
They're all very short. Look at their arms. Look, and they're each huffing what seems to be a vacuum bag of gas. Laughing gas. One of them is Beauty and the Beast, Belle. She is sucking on the bag. There's another one who is
Against
high
her
as
will.
shit, and the 2 men are going. Our women are finally in control.
Yes. Laughing gas was a treatment for scolding wives. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know scolding wife was a disease, and I didn't know scolding was a symptom of it. So like this is like the kind of stuff like you just like whiff in your wife if she was having a bad day, and she'd have a good day, or at least, you know, an eighth of a good day.
I
It's
would
a little
have
weird,
I would have so many bad days. That would be great.
right? and Travis, there was such a thing called laughing gas parties, where like, you know, the person, the host or hostess would like do a nice big dinner, and then like you'd retire to the parlor, and then back in the day, laughing gas used to come out of a furnace. When you heated up the right things, you put it in a bladder, and then you just, you know,
That sounds dangerous.
spend an evening huffing laughing gas with your friends, giggling at such phrases as "coming in handy" all night.
That's a good joke, though. We all like coming in handy.
I can't, like, as soon as you realize like the silliness of that phrase, it's just stuck with you.
Yeah, but it's better than coming in sake.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Cody, you're really coming in handy with these post-production skills, and I'm just like,
Yeah, right now.
I got like fired a week later, but whatever.
Of course.
So, laughing gas, invented by one Joseph Priestley in 1772, and for 44 years, nobody ever thought to use this for any other purpose than just giggles. Like, this was not used as like an anesthetic for at least another, like, you know, 4 decades.
Why'd
So-
the doctors have to ruin our fun?
They didn't ruin it. They just started using it too. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, this guy isn't screaming bloody murder when I'm yanking like a bicuspid out of his face when I gas him up. And the old timey trick was just like you'd send your patient to the pub, and, like get them hammered, and then try to pull the tooth. But then you run into like the awkward situation of like, oh, they might aspirate or puke because they're drunk. Laughing gas, that wasn't really an issue.
It's fine. I mean, it gets the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one dentist named Gardner Quincy Colton in 1844 was the first guy to be like, oh, yeah, let's gas up my patients while I yank teeth out of them. This works lovely. You know what I mean? They're not going to puke on me. They're giggling, and I can get my shit done. So he was kind of the first guy to be like, oh, medical applications for this fun drug. Let's go. Let's use it, boys. And then that's when our subject, Charles Lewis Blood, I'm going to call him Chucky for the rest of the episode.
Chuck Blood.
Gets the idea like, oh, yeah, this can be used for fucking like medical purposes. Only problem was he's not a doctor. But
well, wait, hold on. Didn't you say he was born in 1930 or something?
1830?
Oh, 1830. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a typo. I nixed it before, I thought, but maybe it's still in my notes. 1830 is when our subject tonight is born.
Guys, mail in your roast mortem diplomas. We have to rip them up for you.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
We'll issue new one.
Yes.
So Chuck's like, oh, this thing has medical applications. It's becoming a fad. It's like kind of a buzz topic right now. Only problem is I'm not a doctor, but because I'm not in the limelight in my early youth, I'll just say I'm a doctor. I'll just add MD to the end of my name. So
why not?
There's a bunch of reasons why not. I won't get into them because I assume you have common sense. But he just goes into like, I'm a doctor now, and you try to prove me wrong mode.
My name is Kurt Doogie Howser, MD.
That's pretty much
boy genius.
That with a Boston accent, Travis.
Bye, genius.
Hey, boy genius, where did you go to school to become an MD doctor?
Park the car in Harvard Yard, Tom.
Oh, that's
good
where
I went, Harvard.
I see that your diploma is actually written on a Walbaum's paper bag.
That's how we do them, Boston.
I could buy that. Well, welcome on board. You're now our head doctor.
Yay!
So, like I said, Chuck blips back on the radar, age 35, 1865, and he's hot on this laughing gas fad. Just so you know, Chuck is described as being 6 feet tall, well built. He's got a full head of hair, and he's described as a dandy to most people who meet him on the streets.
Oh, yeah, we went on the king of dandies, who was Beau Brummel.
Yeah.
Good guy.
He did it.
That was like that dandy culture of these boys that were pretty boys.
Yeah, it's one of those gays who likes women.
Yeah.
Very good. That is, I was about to scold you, but Tom, that's right on the head.
And they
no hate.
Snuff.
No hate. I'm just saying, if you want to simplify, if you want to use less words, that's what you say.
So he blips back on the radar from a move from Philly to Boston, and he just, in the move, gains a medical license. I usually lose things when I move a state or two over. This guy finds a license. I was like, wow, good for you, man. So he sets up in Boston. He starts taking out full print ads for his quote-unquote cure-all miracle treatment. Thing is, can't call it laughing gas because, laughing gas has been around for about 100 years now, and people know what that's about. So let's change that name really quick. Let's just call it oxygenized air. That sounds good, right? Humans use oxygen. Humans use air.
When you read this, did you have convulsions?
A little bit. Why?
I don't know. You always get crazy about word things whenever that happens. Whenever something is weird, like, an oxymoron of sorts, you're like, whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah. And that ruins your day.
It does. Just so you know, like, if his ass, like, had brains in it, he'd be calling it oxygenated air, as Tom is trying to point out. But no, this medical quack is using, I looked it up, it's actually a word that was, like, using, like, alchemist days, oxygenized. But oxygenated air is what he should have been calling this shit. But yes, Tom, there was a brief facial tick when I first read oxygenized air.
Are you sure that it wasn't just his Boston accent? Oxygenized air.
Yeah. The Boston accent is pretty much just a stroke patient. Thank you, Travis, for bringing me back down to that.
It was actually a name brand. I'm sorry to piggyback off what Travis was saying. It's actually a brand. It's Oxen and Guys. You know, like, but
Oxen Guys.
We can cut that out because it is terrible. But also leave it in, Zwick. Show them I'm human.
He's got this, like, I'm selling oxygenized air, and he's doing this, you know, through full print pages in the local newspaper, and he's marketing it as a cure for carta, scrofula, and consumption. And if you don't know what those are, that's just all TB.
Oh, all TB.
That's all tuberculosis.
Different flavors
of tuberculosis. Okay, but this is the first giggle I get doing this guy, because is it not slightly cruel to look at someone who's having difficulty breathing and being like, your medicine has to be, I made this medicine to get in your lungs. You know, like, to intake this medicine, you have to breathe. The one thing you came to me having difficulty doing.
Yeah,
this is
you could easily scold your patients. Like, do you even want to live? Come on, man, suck it up.
Suck it up. This is the equivalent of, like, somebody finding the cure for tryptanophobia, the fear of needles, and it's like a series of 12 injections. That's the cruelty this guy is playing on people right now.
I see you lost both your legs in the war. You're gaining a little weight. Maybe you should start running.
Yeah, walk it off. Walk it off, you asshole.
Yeah.
Love it. Just do it.
Yeah. So business is actually good because idiots don't realize what getting high is back in the day. They just think like, oh, if the cure's working. You know what I mean? I went from dying to giggly. Of course this is a cure because I'm giggling. Yeah, Travis.
Well, I feel like most of the medicine back then. Like, that's like, because, you know, they put like coke, you know, cocaine was fucking medicine like back then, and like morphine, and it was just like, oh yeah, you're dying but you're having a good time. Looks like it works.
You know,
that's a cure.
That's the one thing I gotta say. Like, obviously it's very sad when people overdose on cocaine, but you are on top of the world when that happens.
Oh yeah,
for at least 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's the apex. You know, you were like, I am ready to die. I'm gonna die at the height of my life, not the low dregs of what life should be.
Yeah,
is that cruel?
And maybe you could have John Travolta puncture you. Come on.
Yeah, with norepinephrine or whatever that needle was. I've been drinking. Excuse me. So. The dishonest screwy fuck our boy Chucky is, he would hire actors to man his front desk / waiting room area, just to sit there and kind of provide a mirage of an in-demand treatment and practice.
Right, that's like the old Soapy Smith thing. You it's plants.
You hire shills or plants, as Tom says, just to hang around and just be like, you know, if you actually came in for the treatment, you'd see like 1 or 2 guys like in the room with you, and you'd be like, I can't wait. This stuff will clear you right up. And you're just like, oh, good. They're advertising to you secretly.
We're not in the Wild West, but this is the same time, just on the East Coast.
I didn't think of that. Yeah. So, like, think of Wild West treatment styles, just a little bit more refined on, like, the East Coast, because there's more access to things.
Right.
And Chucky would do this thing, like, even if he had 1 appointment for the day, he'd do that dumb doctor thing and make the patient wait an hour in the waiting room just to, like, make that patient feel like, oh, God, like, you know, appointments are hard to get. Better, like, book my next one soon. So
they do that shit on purpose, right?
Some must.
I swear they just overbook all the time. Like,
they overbook and they take doctor lunches. You know doctor lunches, right? Yeah. It's just like, it took you 2 hours and 15 minutes to eat a sandwich and a Coke.
Oh, I thought it was eating oatmeal with your bare hands.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Well, it's oatmeal with your bare hands, and then you go do an 18-hole.
Right, and we're not talking golf.
Yeah.
So Chuck would also use his actors to go out and fuck over investors and hook them in on, you know, something that is pretty much just the stuff they hand out at fun houses. You know, just the guy selling it has a medical license, or so he claims.
Right. Very fun.
It's not.
It is. Cody, it is.
Okay,
it's very
fine.
fun to sell stuff under false pretenses.
That's like your Rastafarian pain doctor subscribing you Gorilla AK-47 for your pain.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. He did the multi-level marketing thing and began selling licenses on how to produce oxygenized air, which is, a huge scam in itself because like this process has already been like documented in like free medical journals like for at least 100 years ago. So he's just like, here's how you make my cure-all, and it's like, pay the license and I'll let you make it. So he's doing multi-level marketing shit too.
It's great.
And for a spell, this made our boy Chucky serious bank. Dying people would come in, feel great, leave, and then come in again. Rinse and repeat until, you're rich.
Well,
Laugh
Cody,
until the
also
day you die.
his name is Dr. Blood. Like,
Let's talk about that.
Dr. Blood. Like, I don't want to go to a Dr. Blood. What's he gonna do? He's gonna drain my dick and then he's gonna drain all the blood out of me.
I think I mentioned this to you before the show, but I had difficulty researching this guy because his popular name is CL blood, and that's actually a horrible condition for the human physiology, like having chlorine in your blood. So it like fucked with my Googling. But this guy is literally named after a disease of the human body with doctor in front of it. So
you
it's
get
Dr.
that-
Chlorine blood, and you're like, oh, let me go to him.
You get that if you freebase cat piss. Trust me, I came very close to getting CL blood.
Really? Wow. Yeah, well, I'm going to be Dr. Pneumonia.
All right. Would you rather have Dr. CL blood, or would you rather see Dr. Jerome Harris?
Well, I might be biased.
Yeah, right?
Well, I'm not. That's why I'm asking you right now.
Well, I would much rather see a CL blood than a Jerome,
Right?
but that's just me, though.
A
Jerome
Jerome
doesn't match the
and
doctor name.
Harris.
I don't know.
Yeah, the average person might be fine with going to a Jerome, but it's a long story. It's a long story. I'm not going to get into it on the show.
Yeah. So anyway, Dr. Jerome Harris is actually a real person existing in this time frame.
Yeah.
He actually has his doctor degree, and he sees CL blood making all this bank on oxygenized air, and he wants a piece of this fucking action. Does he do the corporate American thing and solicit Chucky for, a shakedown every so often?
What does he
No.
do?
This idiot doctor goes in direct competition and begins marketing something called super oxygenized air in direct competition with someone he knows must be a medical quack.
And
So
I'm
we have a
proud.
real doctor stooping to a quack of a fucking drug dealer, more or less.
But
And
sometimes
I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free.
right. I think that like we have seen this many times throughout American history where someone takes a name and then becomes far well known for just adding like super or something crazy at the time. Like I
Super's
recall,
the laziest
I recall
thing
the
you could
first
add.
originally there was a band called REO Wagon, and then REO Speedwagon came along and just blew them
no.
out of the fucking water. Marketing.
Yeah,
It's
there
about
was
marketing.
an Iron Zeppelin, and then they went to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
Yes.
lead's better than iron.
I don't know. Actually, that's kind of not a lot of people know about metal.
I just want to say, like, super is like the laziest prefix to add. You know what I mean? Like, you could go with hyper, giga,
True.
ultra,
Okay, Cody,
mega.
Cody,
right?
you got to get old timey when you think like that. People didn't use the word super so frivolously.
Super was a big word.
Super.
They only broke it out when they were serious.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, does he want to sell me super? No, sir. That's not soup. Super means that is really good.
Right.
Oh, but I just wanted soup.
Did I interest you in super soup?
Oh, fuck!
It's chowder with cocaine in it.
That sounds great,
So-
actually.
Yeah.
I'll be hacking that up for weeks.
You gotta
Anyway.
snort it, though, right? You gotta snort,
Oh, yeah.
snort the chowder.
Oh, God.
Why does your nose sound like that? That made me gag, actually.
You've got to leave the bits of potato in it.
So Dr. Jerome even went so far as to buy out Chucky's old office to kind of like get his patients confused. So Chucky, business was booming. He moved up and out of a small office And, your Dr. Jerome Harris was like, I'm going to take that small office and start selling super oxygenized air out of it. Fuck you. So he starts doing this. Yeah?
Sorry, they're in Philly now, right?
No. This is all Boston.
Okay.
For the most part, this entire episode is Boston. We'll wander up into New Hampshire in a little bit, but just all fucking American,
Because didn't you say he went down to Philly and then he came back?
Philly is when he was off the radar. I guess they don't check shit in Philly. Whatever.
Okay.
So when he came back to Boston is when he re-pinged on the radar, age 30, slinging this oxygenized air as a cure-all.
So the chowder reference, check.
Yeah, I'm in there. I got you, baby. So he buys the old office and he's selling out of it just to confuse the patients or maybe entice them like, oh, this is an upgrade. This is super oxygenized air. So one day, Dr. Jerome is visited by a man called Carville. And Carville's like, I got what I think is bronchitis. Can I huff that super oxygenized air of yours? And Dr. Jerome was like, hell yeah, dude, your check cleared. Whiff this. And he just, puts a bladder up to fucking Carville's face. And in a matter of seconds, Carville starts frothing at the mouth, having convulsions, and spitting up all over the carpet. This lasts for an hour.
Cody, I'm on the edge of my seat because I know this man started Carvel ice cream.
No.
He better survive.
How are we going to get Fudge Whale if
how
you
we going to get Fudgy Whale?
So he's on the floor, writhing in agony for upwards of 60 minutes. And at this point, Dr. Jerome is like, get out. I can't, you can't stop me. I got patients to see.
I have one other appointment today and several crisis actors.
Get out of... No, this is the doctor that Jerome isn't using crisis actors.
Oh, Jerome is legit.
This is the rival of Chucky. Chucky is the asshole who doesn't have his license and he uses shills.
But
Jerome
is making his gas with tree nuts.
And his name is Jerome.
Right.
Yeah.
Not trustworthy.
So after an hour, Dr. Jerome kicks this guy out. He's like, I got things to do. You can't die on my floor all day, sir.
Go spasm out in the gutter.
Drag you out, bitch.
So days later, all these negative reviews start showing up in publications regarding Dr. Jerome and his super oxygenized air. And business tanked for Dr. Jerome.
That's because you fuck with ice cream moguls. You're going to get fucked, dude.
Well, Travis, let's take a look at the fuckery afoot here.
All right.
Immediately after seeing Dr. Jerome and having a horrible experience with super oxygenized air, Carville went to Dr. Blood and got regular oxygenized air, and it cured him of the overdose.
Oh, thank God.
That's why whenever you get your oil changed, when they're like, you want to go synthetic? No. Yeah. I want to do regular.
Please don't ask me that again, you filthy grease monkey.
So it's like, oh, what a wild coincidence that super oxygenized air will poison you, but regular oxygenized air is a cure for that poisoning. Isn't that wild?
Tree nuts, dog.
Isn't that wacky? It's the same drug. It's the same drug. So if you put two and two together, yes, Carville is one of the fucking actors under Blood's employment.
Ah.
And he went to the rival, faked this entire episode, gave him a bunch of 1-star reviews, went to, his employer, Dr. Blood, doctor in quotations, always with blood, and got the cure in the form of regular oxygenated air.
Yo, he yelped that bitch.
He went full Karen on this. And the thing is, I can't be angry at it because he went full Karen, writhing, puking, and frothing for an hour. Okay. For an hour. That's too much. So I would have gone 7 minutes and then just tried to play dead.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This guy needs an Oscar.
Is Dr. Blood, CL Blood, a medical charlatan? Perhaps. Is he an excellent casting director? You know
Assuredly.
he is.
Assuredly.
Yeah. He's like, I got that guy. He sold it. He sold it so fucking hard. I went to Holy Trinity High School and watched the kids shake around and do their improv classes, and that's the one I want.
That one. He's going to make ice cream.
So this entire escapade, illustrates that Dr. Blood or Chucky has no understanding of human physiology. Because essentially, imagine this. You're overdosing on 6 cups of coffee, and then someone says the cure is 1 more half cup of coffee. That's not how you treat overdoses. You stop giving him the
Cody,
overdose.
He was given super air.
Right.
Cody,
so
you're missing another point here. This is America. I have a friend who sells pharmaceuticals for a living.
Uh-huh.
He's not a doctor. He's a guy with a briefcase. And he goes to doctors and he goes, hey, why don't you give your people some of this Oxycontin? All right? Give them something to take the edge off and perhaps put them in a downward spiral for the rest of their lives. Now, careers are made like this. So he's a careerman. We're not expecting anything else here. Come on, let's be realistic. CL Blood. Blood is true. What is truer than money? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing in America.
Yep.
Donnie.
But you can just see he doesn't understand the concept of an overdose. You stop giving him that. And, like, just so you know, like, super oxygenized air was literally just the same was marketed as the same thing as oxygenized air, just higher concentrated.
Right.
So it's this like weird, like, oh my God, he's overdosing on Coca-Cola. Give him a Diet Coke. He'll be better. No, that's not how the human body works.
I love that you're focusing on that part so much. I love it.
Everyone could have outed him as a quack right now, but all these Bostonian fucks are just like, I like getting high.
Cody, no one knew anything back then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the parade could have stopped, but everyone was too dumb and would rather get high.
Well, also, Cody, like, so you said that this is trying to treat TB, right? Which is a spread through breathing.
It's marketed as such. It doesn't actually.
Right. But so imagine someone going in there and they're like, I think I got TB. And like CL Blood or the other guy, Jerome, is like, suck on this balloon that like 80 other people have put their mouths on and I haven't washed it. You're getting TB.
Yeah,
they didn't antiseptic anything.
It's not stopping at TB either. All these people believe in free love, and that's really, really quite something else.
I even bet you, like Dr. like Jerome Harris, like to save on balloons, would like huff directly out of the furnace and like try and like kiss the patient.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm out of balloons. So this is an entire charade to fucking like destroy, the rival, Dr. Jerome Harris. So on top of all these negative reviews, Carville also brought up a lawsuit, like, oh, medical fuckery, you don't know how this works. And the case fell through, but Jerome Harris was so like, I can't deal with crazy. I'm not going to deal with this brand of crazies. So he up and left Boston and, CL Blood, our boy Chucky, his monopoly was restored. So he's just like, I'm the big dick in the house now.
Just like the hippie gangsters.
As I have said many times in my life, get out of here, Jerome.
Inside joke.
Can you smell the inside jokes? So shortly after this, Chucky gets into the brush with the law every so often. And I forgot to mention this, but a partial reason Chucky dons this like fake doctor guise is he's under the assumption that authorities will take the word of a doctor over that of a layman all the time. He's thinking like, if I ever get into like a legal scruffle, I just say I'm a doctor. And if the other guy's not a doctor, I win. Because as a doctor, I'm more trustworthy, even though he like got his doctorate in a fucking, box of Fruit Loops or something like that.
Okay.
All right. Cody, do you think that he had one of those, I don't even know what those are for, the little pizza cutter things that they used to wear on their heads?
I was just thinking about that.
You don't know what that's for? It's just a reflector to get light in their mouth.
Oh, I always thought it was to cut pizza on your lunch break.
When I didn't know what it was for, I thought it was just like a ceremonial doctor crown. Like, oh, you trust the guy that has the shiny on his head.
How come they still don't wear that? They should.
Because we have headlamps now. We have headlamps now.
You notice that those went away, like, as soon as people started using MP3s and streaming? I think it's a CD up there.
Yeah, it's a mini disc.
A universal media disc, yeah.
Exactly. And then everyone was kind of like, I don't buy physical media anymore. I hate the bands I listen to.
Well, Chuck thinks he's got, a trump card when it comes to laymen. It's just like, I'm a doctor. I know more than you. The judge will believe me. Like, yeah, kind of, but only with like medical issues. Chuck gets into a lot of non-medical issues with people and tries using the doctor card when it doesn't work. And we're going to laugh at all of them right now.
Hell yeah.
Firstly, because Chuck is slinging not laughing gas, but his own patented. I'm drinking. The words are tricky this episode. Bear with me. He's slinging his own patented formula, aka the super oxygenized air. Right. So that needs paperwork for patenting and administration as a treatment in your practice. Of course, Chucky didn't do any of that shit. So the IRS is just like, hey man, either you owe back taxes or you're going to jail for fraud because you're not stamping your patents while using them. And Chuck's like, I'm a doctor. Can this go away? And the government was like, no. And it must have been a huge amount of back tax owed because instead of paying it, Chucky just disappeared from Boston, leaving his practice to his nurses for a spell.
Back then, you could do stuff like that. And that's something that we will never have as millennials and anyone, Gen Zers and down, or Gen Xers rather and down. You can't do that anymore. The politicians want to have a good time with you. They want to take your money. They want to throw you up and down,
See, that's something that DMX never learned, is that you just can't fly to a different state pretending to be a federal officer to escape your taxes.
Sir, I think I found him. He's in a dog kennel. He has been barking at me. I've been asking to identify himself for the last half hour, and he has been snarling.
What you really want?
All right,
you want my money? You want my money,
sir? Earl Simmons,
sir.
Is your legal name Earl Simmons, sir?
I'm in the FBI. I'm DMX.
Okay, we got him then. That is a moniker.
That's
just
fine.
can't
That's
help it.
Close enough. Yeah.
Could you imagine that every time DMX goes to Nathan's or something and they ask for his name? Like, all right, that's 3 hot dogs and some cheesy fries. What's the name, sir? DMX. It's like, sir, this is a kid's restaurant.
Fuck you, bitch.
No, you know that he uses a fake name when he goes to Starbucks. Like, I'm not DMX. I'm totally Juan. And they spell it wrong.
God, I do really genuinely love DMX. I think he's a great artist.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait, hold on. Can we go to the website? IsDMXinjail.com? Is he in jail?
This is important.
That is an actual website. You can look it up. This episode, it might be different by the time it comes out.
Yeah.
Well, as of this recording, Travis, is DMX in jail?
I don't know. Is he?
I got it. I pulled him up. DMX is not in jail.
Hey!
Yeah!
Shout out to DMX. Love the guy. Really do. He's got so much enthusiasm.
Again, there's a little delay between the episode and now, so check again when this comes out.
As of this recording, he's a freeman. So he owes back taxes, to Uncle Sam, so he just fucking leaves Boston. A couple of U.S. Marshals find him in Philly. They arrest him. But the weird thing is there was never a trial or he was arrested, but that was the end of it. There wasn't a trial. There wasn't sentencing. There wasn't a payment of the back taxes. He was just arrested, and then he shows back up in Boston a free man. So he either, escaped or he, did the American thing and slipped these 2 U.S. Marshals something under the table.
Well, they told the officers which cheesesteak place is their favorite. They arrest you in Philly, and they're like, Geno's or Pat's. You pick the right one, get out of jail.
I would think you just slip him another person who has bigger tax fraud, perhaps a Jerome of sorts. Maybe you just come up with a Jerome and you go, maybe you should look into this guy. He's tax evader. He takes my shit. He might be a vampire. So just go look into this guy. And they go, oh, thanks a lot. And they let you go.
So yeah. Another storm of fuckery unfolded when an investor took a shine to Chucky's booming oxygenized air business. The investor wanted to throw up capital and then receive dividend. It's fairly common business arrangement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
However, this investor never sufficiently covered his ass in case of non-payment. So Chuck did the thing and was just like, well, I'm a doctor and you're just a shitty investor. I'm going to tell the police I never got your money. And that's exactly what happened. This investor did not get a refund of his lump, nor did he get dividends, and he died a year later destitute. So you can look at it as like this guy kills people. you can file fucking Chucky as someone that like is shitty enough to let people die for money.
Could
yeah,
you
but you
imagine-
know that,
Sorry.
you know that investor died laughing. He probably had some laughy gas.
Yeah, just sucking like the drip residue outside the office back alley.
You know what's funny when you have one of those moments where someone's accusing you, oh, you know, I didn't take a receipt for receiving this money, and then you're brought
Always
to court,
take receipts.
and you know you're the defendant, and they're going, and your defense is, where's the money? I never got the money. Like you could also play victim as the defendant, and you could even make a mockery of it, like as you say, Judge, I never received the money. Where is it? And start looking under things. Illustrating
in the courtroom
for hours, even be like, "Where did you leave the money, sir?"
And just
you can
turn your
cross-examine
pockets
like a
inside out.
motherfucker. That's how you do it.
That's how they won the Scopes monkey trial. They're like, "Where's the monkey?" And they started looking around the courthouse.
Everyone take
Show
a
me the
banana
monkey!
and smear it on something. Find the monkey.
If I didn't mention this lump sum of startup capital, I don't know why it's startup capital because he's already going, was $4,500. So it was a big chunk of change in exchange for like dividends. You got to cover your ass if you're like slinging $4,500.
Honestly, man, that's just as much that guy's fault. So shout to
It is,
Blood.
it is,
He
it
did
is.
it.
Yeah, I'm more of a Crips kind of guy.
You and I, we do different.
I was waiting for who would make that joke first.
Well, Travis, you're a Huntington station man, and I am a Huntington. I am very arrogant and blood.
Oh shit!
Or something of the nature. I don't truly understand it, but I will die for it.
That explains so much. By 1883, Chuck had published a book feigning his medical know-how. It's more or less a multi-paged advertisement for his, patented cure-all. The book's title was A Century of Life, Health, and Happiness. Misleading because Chuck is 45 and I have no idea where this century horse shit comes from. It just sounds like it was a sharp word he wanted to lead the title with.
Of course.
Yeah.
I remember getting a DVD by the band Cannibal Corpse when they turned 25, and it was called Centuries of Torment. Now, granted, they talk about slicing women in half, and there is a element of fantasy there. This is a doctor. Maybe he shouldn't take the Centuries of Torment.
Doctor with air quotes. Doctor with air quotes.
Cody, you know he has the pizza slice on his head. He must be a doctor.
Travis, he's just as much as a doctor as you are.
Yeah. Point made. Dude, I know everything about biology.
Yeah.
Cody, you need a kidney transplant? I could do it. Just give me a kidney.
Wait, why are you asking for one of my kidneys if you're offering to put one in?
Well, I'll replace it with haggis.
That works, yeah.
Travis just found a
Same
nice
shape.
small hand cooler, something he can bring to the beach and just bring his 224s and a sandwich.
Yeah, Yeti or something.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got to try it on something. Give him a kidney.
Well, I am a doctor. Of course, I have a Yeti cooler.
So,
It's like $500, dude.
I have mouths to feed and shit to buy.
wow. Yeah. So this book comes out, or it's about to come out. An investor gave your boy CL Blood $210 in exchange for early releases of the book. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, I like your book. I want to sell it. Here's $210. Give me 2 dozen of these early before you release them. And, yeah, that's the deal.
Is this book written in phonetic Boston?
I don't know. That'd be great if it was.
Kind of like Train Spotting with Scotland, but it's in Boston and it's about medical shit.
It's one of those things where you can make fun of how dumb that accent sounds, but as soon as it is a non-zero likelihood if you ask one of the people with that dumb accent where they went to school and they'll say Harvard, and you'll just be like, oh, well, fuck me. I make
you'd be like,
Stupid.
Yeah. It still trumps the medical. It trumps 12 years of additional schooling.
Cody, if you're from the Boston area and you're smart enough to go to Harvard, go to MIT because no one can make fun of you. that's not doesn't carry in the accent.
You can't do
MIT.
the accent.
They
MIT
can
sounds
make
like.
fun of.
So this guy this book investor actually covered his ass this time, and when Chuck tried to do like, I'm a doctor, you're a book buyer, what do you have to say to that? And this fucking book buyer was just like, how about the receipts, you asshole? And Chucky was immediately thrown in jail for, you know what I mean, not being able to bail his way out of a fraud.
Right. You know what? Go to jail. Who cares? He's going to be out in 45 days anyway.
That's pretty much the case.
A century's worth of days. Get out of there.
My life, my century in prison.
Yeah, he's
couldn't have
gonna
been more than a year.
45 days.
Was not more than a year. I can tell you that right now.
He's gonna be laughing. He's writing the laughing gas community equivalent of Mein Kampf, which is just him talking about like different bags to use to suck gas out
Doctor
of,
chair.
and thinks he's changing the world, like many hippies do.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about saving the earth, and then they also drive a Jeep Wrangler. Shout out to them. And they go,
You drive a Jeep Wrangler.
Do it. You know, go save Earth and be nice to each other. Either way, sorry, that's a bit of a tangent. Please continue.
Did I just off-road and run over a turtle?
Oh, my God.
No, turtles have shells. You can't do that.
Yeah.
They're invincible.
You can't, it's just a Nitrous speed bomb.
Oh, no. The one time I decided to help a turtle cross the road, he like fucking peed all over my shoes.
Oh, well, you had a long dick then. We saw some turtles today. Gabby and I went to a walk in the park.
Oh, shit.
We went to Heckscher Park and we saw lots of turtles.
That's where I rescued a turtle and he peed all over me.
Oh, man, that's Huntington Piss Foundry. That's what we call it now.
Tom, remember when you committed murder in Heckscher Park with my crawdad?
Yeah, that was an accident. You shouldn't have left Huntington. That was what that was.
Well, Cody, Tom, I'm just saying, I know you have some PTSD. I can work it through. We'll go get some lobsters.
I was fine with it.
So Chuck couldn't have been in jail for more than a year because in April of 1884, he went on this sneaky and manipulative fuck of a clustered fuck storm.
What is this,
guys? I don't know. This illegal fuckery fried my brain. If it doesn't make sense to you, stop me and ask me what's going on because this is like so complicated to me. But it's a bit part, but I feel like it's important. But Chuck was dating this lady called Jeanette, and I have no idea what prompted Chuck to do this. But Chuck fabricated a story regarding Jeanette's ex-boyfriend, the guy that dated Jeanette before, our boy Dr. Chucky did.
Okay. Chucky's getting sloppy seconds. Okay.
Yeah, Chucky's getting sloppy seconds to this ex-boyfriend. Chucky fabricates a story that this guy proposed to Jeanette, knocked her up, forced her into a back alley abortion, and then dumped her.
Well,
and I'm not sure where the illegal... It's definitely scummy and vile, surreptitious. I'm not sure where the illegal thing happened yet.
Well, wouldn't the abortion be illegal back in the day?
For the doctor, I assume.
No, it's for the lady too. It's for all parties involved. But look, that sounds like a big old he too story because he's making this shit up. Like, firstly, you don't force a back alley abortion on someone and break up with them. You do one or the other. Now, back in this time, you could easily bang a broad, not pull out, and then go move 3 blocks over, and she would never see you again. So, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it really doesn't. And I don't know if this is him being like, let me exploit this doctor versus layman trump card I have up my sleeve.
Right.
But Chuck made this story up, went to the ex-boyfriend, and will be like, hey, I'm going to expose you if you don't give me $4,000 right now. The ex-boyfriend should know this is an entirely fabricated story from the get-go. You know what I mean? Because he's like, I didn't do that, dude.
Right.
I didn't knock her up at all. I didn't.
What a bitch. Well, no, but what a bitch, though. Because she's the one that's like, oh, yeah, we'll get $400.
Yeah, she's collaborating.
Yeah. Well, you want to get $400 from my ex-boyfriend?
$4,000.
Wait, does he hand it over?
No. The ex-boyfriend's like, I never got her pregnant. There was no abortion. He freaked out and went to the cops, and the cops are like, we got to arrest this guy. or arrest the doctor, Dr. Blood, because this is clearly cut and dry extortion.
Right. Also, who has $4,000 lying around? I mean, it's
the ex-boyfriend's
inflation and where
the
we are
ex-boyfriend
today.
is a musician, by the way.
Oh, so he plays guitar. He's got
In
sweaty
Boston.
hair. He's got bangs. He's got a vest on.
I'm shipping up to Boston. What?
So the cops are like, "You're an idiot. We're not going to like. You're a doctor, but this isn't a medical. This really isn't a medical affair. Your word is just as good as the musicians, but the musician actually can say and show like this never happened."
Well, yeah. I mean, the musician has to show up and sing a song that is called "No" or something. Nah, dude. That's the song. Nah, man.
Nah, man. I said, nah, man, idiot.
If you thought that was slightly confusing and preposterous and ass backwards and all that, we're going to talk about the Sawtell brothers right now.
They invented saltines.
They did not.
Okay.
We have two Sawtell brothers. One's a good egg, one's a bad egg. The good egg, his name is Hiram, and he sells fruit for a living.
All right.
The bad egg, his name is Isaac. He's a rapist for a living.
Wow, it's hard to make a living. Well, it's hard to make a living in that field. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'd rather be the fruit seller, honestly.
Yeah, me too, for a lot of reasons. Money, number one. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. That's
good, very good, sir. So, 1876, Isaac Sawtell is convicted of 3 counts of rape and sentenced to 3 decades in the slammer in Massachusetts State Prison.
right.
He's a well-behaved rapist, so they let him out early. He only serves 13 of those years.
It's terrible.
It is terrible. It's not my fault. Don't let a rapist go.
You
Don't
can
let a
ignore me.
rapist
You can
go
ignore
before.
me.
They let a rapist out before he got done finishing half of his sentence.
Yeah.
Because he washed behind his ears.
He said, please and thank you. No way he's going to do that again to ladies.
So I want to drop this hint right here. He may have met a certain pretend doctor while he was in prison for those rape charges. Wink, wink, hint, hint. So his good behavior got him out early, and he reconnected with his fruit-selling brother.
Did he rape him?
He did not rape his brother.
Oh,
He's like, no, you'll stand on this side of my car. You stay away from the papaya. I know what it looks like.
Yeah. A little bit of bad news when he gets out of the slammer. The 2 brothers, their father had passed away.
Yeah, I don't care. That's not bad news. It's a rapist.
And it suck if he got out of jail.
Yeah, but all right. Hold on, though. Hold on. My father just passed. Cody's father just passed. If we raped someone a week before, no one's going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. They'd be like, you're a fucking rapist. Shut the fuck up.
Well, you would feel sad your dad's dead if you were a rapist.
The news,
but I don't feel bad for Rape Boy.
Guys,
Maybe
that's fair.
The news of you 2 guys being theoretical rapists probably killed your dads. So
yeah.
You
don't
did
know
it.
That's not true.
You're a murderer.
Oh, good. I got weird real quick.
Conversation.
Yeah.
I'd like to move along.
Yeah, let's keep going.
So the father of this fruit seller and convict dies, leaving an estate worth $15,000. Medium large fortune right there. The estate goes to the widow of the late father, and the fruit seller, Hiram, is like, Mom, let me take care of that estate, or let me manage it for you. And that's how the estate was divvied up. Goes to the widow. Hiram, the good brother, is taking care of it.
Great.
Now, if you're wondering where Chuck fits into all this, he met our boy in prison, and as free men, they got back together and started scheming a little bit.
Right.
Started scheming. Isaac didn't like that he didn't get any of the fucking estate.
Because he raped.
Shouldn't have raped. Yeah.
Very true, yes, but he was like, oh, well, why did I get cut out of this deal? Because I'm a rapist? And they're looking at him like, well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you might be a terrible person. That's a good place to start.
Yeah. So Isaac was given nothing of this estate, rightfully so. If you actually think about how estates get divvied up, post mortem.
He's in jail. It's like, what are we gonna do? Like, he's not showing up. Yeah. I'm dead.
Yeah. So Isaac hits up our subject tonight, CL Blood, and it's just like, hey, do you think we can gas up my brother and then like get him to sign over the property. And then you as a doctor can be like, exercise your trump card over laymen, being a doctor and being like, oh yeah, he signed that over. And our boy tonight, our Chucky Blood, was just like, hell yeah, I'll do that for $500.
All right.
Jeez.
So he's helping a rapist get money from his brother.
Yeah, he's helping a rapist steal money from his family. And right now, again, you can tell these two idiots are bona fide morons because they're trying to intimidate and gas up the wrong person.
Yeah, they gotta go to the mom, right?
The widow holds the estate. The guy, like, that's like kidnapping a mall security guard and pistol whipping him until he signs over the mall.
Yeah. Hey, why are the Foot Locker shoes on sale?
Where are the keys to that Prius that's in the middle of the mall?
Sign them all over to me. Just there.
Yeah. This is fun.
I'm gonna get in that Prius and drive this mall away.
This sounds like a Norm Macdonald movie from the 90s. I love it.
Yeah, so unless a will explicitly said something goes to the children, it goes to the widow. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
That's how I would expect it to work.
Yeah, so they're like, let's get your brother high and have him sign a napkin.
Even though he doesn't have anything to sign over.
Okay. Yeah, well, it sounds good for his brother. Congrats,
I have what you want. You want to take my 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot a bunch? I got nothing for you.
So on February 1st, 1890, Isaac the rapist lies to his brother's wife. And Isaac says like, hey, we're having a small family reunion in New Hampshire. Let me take your daughter.
Oh,
your husband already gave permission.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving my daughter over to this rape boy.
Yeah, so this rapist more or less underhandedly kidnaps and abducts his own niece to New Hampshire. He's like, oh, hey, your husband said I could take her to a thing. We're doing a thing. Right, kid? And the kid's like, bah!
Yeah, New Hampshire's a bunch of libertarians, so it might be legal there.
Travis,
I don't think it works.
I want you to remember
Just kidding, New Hampshire.
how I want you to remember that New Hampshirites, I don't know the demonym for these people, they're a little bit happy on the death penalty. I want you to keep that in mind.
This
is the land this is the land of live free and die hard.
As hard as possible for some reason.
Don't snap on worm.
This is Nathan Hale place, I think.
Leave my snake out of it.
So So he more or less kidnaps the 7-year-old daughter, his niece, to, across state lines. And 48 hours later, he sends a telegram, to Hiram, the good brother, and his wife, saying like, "Oh, your daughter's sick. I don't know what happened. She's got the grip." And grip is old term for she's got a high temperature.
Okay.
Okay.
The devil got her.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, come back. You come to Rochester as soon as you can. Your daughter's sick." And Hiram, being the good fruit-selling stand-up guy he is, gets on, the 1 p.m. train on February 3rd, literally as soon as he gets that telegram, to go be with his sick daughter.
Right.
I bet he had a very nice fruit salad lunch on the train.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe it's because I'm a product of the time and the internet, but like, I could just imagine the best case scenario with this little girl. Like, she's not harmed or anything, but just the conversation. And that's why I spent 6 years in jail.
Yeah, man. Your dad said you could be here.
Yeah. You were allowed to be here. I don't have any money, so we can't stop to get you anything to eat. Let me tell you a story about jail again.
Oh, good.
Did I tell you about my roommate that I loved so much in jail? Winston.
Yeah.
One of my favorite men. Your father sells fruit. He sold me fruit. Large bananas. Every night.
What's his name?
Winston.
Some people smoke Winstons. I smoked one Winston.
I got this reusable Winston.
Sometimes I wasn't in the mood to smoke, but, sometimes the Winston's bigger.
That's jail.
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
On February 6th, Isaac and the 7-year-old girl return to Boston suspiciously without hide or hair of your boy Hiram. And it's like, oh, you're down one party member than you should be. What happened to Hiram? And after enough suspicion percolated, the Boston police approached Isaac for answers, and he just disappeared. And it's just like, uh-oh, this has a distinct odor to it.
So we're talking about the woods of New England, laughing gas. Sounds like a Dave Matthews Band show.
Yep.
Might disappear.
It might never come back to greater civilization.
And then emerge. If it's Dave Matthews, you would emerge from the woods. You'd be 45 and have 2 children and vote conservatively.
Yes, of course. I mean, there's nothing more important than having a good conservative jam session.
Yes.
So
we don't.
Isaac disappeared. Isaac disappeared, went on the lam, went back to New Hampshire for some reason, a.k.a., where the investigation was already heading anyway. So he decides to hide out where he knows the cops are going to go.
Right. Didn't realize Jersey existed.
No.
Nothing. Not Connecticut, not an option.
So the police follow this, rapist to New Hampshire and start asking the locals, it's Rochester area, they start asking the locals if any suspicious fuckery has gone down. And oh boy, has suspicious fuckery gone down in Rochester.
Dude, so they're like in a diner and they're like, did you see this rapist come into town? Did he do anything weird? And like, oh yeah, he did.
Not the diner, but the local hotel.
Okay.
They went to the hotelier. The
Faulty
manager.
Towers.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And they asked, have you seen either of these men? And, they were able to provide sketches. And the hoteliers, there was 2 of them. They both confirmed, like, yeah, both of them checked in, but only the rapey one checked out.
Oh, yeah. And it's Manuel Sachs with his fake Spanish accent just going like, yeah, he was here, rubbing his butt.
Yeah. He had those real squinty rape eyes.
He looked at me no good, like, and we went to the fridge. I walk in the fridge.
And the cops keep asking around. They eventually get to a clerk at the local hardware store, and he doesn't have good news. The shopkeep says, "Oh yeah, the rapey guy purchased a pickaxe, a shovel, and a hatchet."
Ooh.
Spoilers: he was not playing Minecraft IRL.
Oh my goodness!
I love playing Minecraft. Have you guys seen me play Minecraft IRL? I go into the woods naked. And
there's no point any characters get naked in Minecraft.
I hit trees with my fist for a while, and then I dig around the dirt and look for diamonds. And diamonds are actually the white dog turds that are right off the beaten path.
Wow,
that's horrible.
They've been there for several years.
Yeah. It's called Minecraft IRL. Travis, watch me on twitchstream.com.
Do you smell that? Do you smell true crime metrics coming in, boys?
Oh, we keep doing this.
Dude, we keep boosting our numbers.
It's good. We're going to be $30,000 heirs.
I got to get bigger tits if we're doing true crime.
Yeah.
Not really.
I know this is an audio show, but, your metrics go up if you got bigger tits on the Instagram. And you're like, I
feel like you can hear how big tits are in a voice.
Yeah. You hear the heavy H's. That.
Ooh.
I'm just going to get a P.O. box in Brooklyn and call it a day, okay? Can we just do it?
Let's do that. Let's do it.
So the police searched the nearby forested, wooded area and uncovered a bloody hatchet wrapped in a newspaper, a shoe belonging to Hiram, and Hiram's monogrammed handkerchief. There's so much evidence. The police are looking around like there's clearly idiots in the end game of a murder that are waiting for us to arrest them.
Dude,
right.
You can't imagine how stoked those police were. This is before you could do fingerprinting and DNA testing.
My God,
so you'd
Travis.
find a leg in the woods. It's like a Wednesday, right?
Wasn't a leg, not a leg. But just keep in mind the murder weapon, the monogrammed handkerchief, and the exact size shoe and style Hiram wears was in the woods. This is like a detective's wet dream, as you said, Travis.
Right,
yeah.
Not to mention the 20 pounds of loose fruit salad, just kind of everywhere.
What? This is weird. But
boysenberry.
here's where I crack up for the second time during my research.
Tell us.
I'll let you know right now. I'll give it a spoiler. Not Hiram. Our boy Chucky is the idiot wrapping everything in newspapers. And now, if you're a criminal, wrapping shit in newspapers, especially a blood-stained hatchet, is a really bad move.
Wait,
you're dating it.
What day did you think this guy got killed?
You can tell you can tell more or less exactly by looking the date on the newspaper. Yeah. And back then, newspapers hyper local. You could tell which town the newspaper came from. You know what I mean? And newspapers always willing to help the cops out because they get a story out of it.
Could you imagine how meta that would be if like the reporter was there witnessing it and they printed it and then they used a fresh paper and it was like the murder was already written about within that paper? Wow. Wow, look at what we did.
Some reporter sees these two dopes come into town, like with their all rapey eyes and fucking laughing gas faces. Like, these guys are going to kill someone, so let's just write the story right now.
Let's write the story.
Yeah, the hotel bus boys are like, don't kill me, please.
Yeah, no, it's
guys
like, no,
you.
Guys, don't worry, we're not here to kill you. We brought our own fruity Jew, and we're going to chop this motherfucker up.
Ooh, it was basically, the story was written like a Mad Libs. They just left like the name blank and then like the murder weapon blank.
Yeah. Well, it must have happened then.
And another thing about wrapping the murder evidence up, don't do that. I don't care if it was a newspaper, just don't wrap your evidence up. Why would you preserve something that's going to get you in trouble?
Yeah, you want them bugs to eat that shit.
Let the bugs on it, let the rain on it, let the mud splash on it, the blood will wash away. Maybe the entire fucking axe rusts and rots. Why would you put, like...
Yo, Cody!
I laughed my ass off when I first, read the police report.
You know why? Because archaeology, dog.
Yeah.
You got to be archaeologists. That's what we do.
Got to be at it. What if we found that axe now in the woods? Archaeology.
Mm-hmm. So, a little bit more snooping around. Near an abandoned farmhouse, authorities uncovered the mutilated body of Hiram Sawtelle. The body was decapitated with both of its arms also amputated. And perhaps the grossest fact to relay, the body was entirely naked with the exception of socks.
That's gross.
That's beastly. That's inhuman.
You should never be naked with just socks on. And
I don't care if you don't have any arms or head.
Yeah.
You don't get caught naked with socks on.
Now, I will say there's one exception. If you are going to be naked and have socks on and shoes, then that is very intentional.
That's okay.
That's intentional, but also offsetting because you're just like, that guy's busy, but weirdly has a weird priority list.
That guy has to go somewhere.
Cody, I'm not going to argue with that point, but it's more of like a, don't like it, but I get it.
Yeah. Mm.
But the socks is just like, how dare you? How dare you exist like this?
Yeah. So apparently the killer, this is very common happenstance. The killer just gets too lazy digging the grave.
Yeah.
So he just starts chopping the body up so it fits, he's playing Tetris.
I'm just saying digging a whole body size is not easy.
No, it's not. Which is why I understand why some people disposing bodies are like, fuck it, cut the body up. You know what I mean? He's not going to care.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely a practical move. It's a very IKEA thing. To cut a body up.
Here's the trick, though. It was buried in different holes.
That's fun.
So
that's dumb.
You got the torso and legs in one. You got the arms somewhere else, and you got the head somewhere else.
But doesn't that just make it easier to find? Because you've got 3 holes with, you could tell when someone dug a hole, right? Yeah. So you're walking around like, oh, there's one dug hole, and then you walk 3 steps here. There's another one.
Guys, it's an Easter egg hunt. Okay.
Oh.
See what I did there? No true crime podcast has made that bad joke before.
You should be proud because that made me jealous. That one made me jealous that I didn't think of it before.
Don't worry, baby. We share this glory together.
Ooh.
I was going to say, Tom, are you going to be a father soon? Because that was good.
Good dad joke.
I'm getting there, man. It is called becoming one disappointing guy with yourself.
Embrace. Yeah. Let's make a self-help book. This Roast Mortem presents embrace the disappointment.
Yes, that's a lot of fun. Kind of rolls off the tongue, too. Anyway, continue, Cody.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the methodology behind this was. We know both of these guys are idiots, just given their track records. But one can say there might be an element of cleverness in it because the teeth and fingerprints weren't with the torso. You know, because that's how you usually start to identify a fucker.
But they didn't do that shit back then. Did they?
They did not have a database, but they could tell if fingerprints still matched if you had a preloaded sample. They can't be like,
this
they
is
can't go to a computer.
This is the 1890s,
right?
Now, right?
So
They can't go to a computer and be like, oh, this is Hiram Sawtell. They can go and find something Hiram Sawtell handled and then match it to that.
Okay,
but they don't have that.
So there's like Sherlock Holmes, like
little bit.
Watson, get me the cocaine. We must find the fingers.
Yeah,
elementary.
Yeah, and Watson's just out there going, I can't believe I work with this guy. He's out of his mind. He's actually he's also a rapist. It's weird. Anyway, continue.
We should roast Sherlock Holmes, bro.
Could you imagine out there? Okay, there has got to be a population that when I say a bad joke like that, I'm not standing up for the quality of the joke, but if I said something like that, like Sherlock Holmes was a rapist, someone would go, don't talk shit about Sherlock Holmes. He was a good dude.
Oh, I smell an April Fool's episode coming up.
Yeah, we should do a Sherlock. Oh, wait, Zwick, edit that out. Edit that little zing boy out.
But let's Sherlock do Holmes.
Yeah, let's do Sherlock
Holmes. tuck that into like
or Mavis Beacon.
Yeah, tuck that into like a. Don't delete that. Tuck it into like a fucking montage that will come out after the jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the trunk here. So bunch of holes, body parts all around. But more or less the police are just looking at Isaac like, you did it. You did it. You may have had help, but you definitely did it. So they go find him. They track him down. He's at a train station in New Hampshire with 2 tickets on him, which is like, you got an accomplice if you have 2 of these tickets trying to escape the scene of the crime.
Right.
So they're kind of smelling there's an accomplice in the wind, but they don't want to bite down on that idea too hard just yet, because that just means there's another fucker they got to wrangle.
Right.
So they're just like, maybe he's got an accomplice. I'm like, of course he has. He's got 2 goddamn train tickets. He's not gonna tip the fucking railroad company.
Who do you think dug the other 2 holes?
Oh, I don't know. So, like I said, or like I hinted earlier, Travis, it's a big deal whether because the body was found pretty much on the border of Maine and New Hampshire. So it makes a big deal where Hiram actually died. If he died in Maine, that guy, the perpetrator, will serve a life sentence. If he died in New Hampshire, that fucker's hanging instantly, almost.
Right.
Hell yeah.
New Hampshire likes the noose.
Don't step on my cock while I'm trying to ring this guy up. That's they shortened it recently, but that's pretty much the idea.
Don't walk on eel.
Yeah.
No, I think that one's actually Unite or Die. That's the New Hampshire flag.
Oh, their actual flag? No, it's actually
no. Well, their spirit flag or whatever.
Yeah. Don't find Loch Ness Monster without me.
So this is a huge splash in the media. It was murder, jealousy, family, this, that, the other thing. The media had a goddamn field day. And media started to do something that I really am not a fan of. And they marketed this tragic tale as a remix of the Cain and Abel story.
Oh.
Right.
Like 2 brothers, good one, bad one. Out of the picture father leaves them some providence, and instead of sharing, the bad brother kills the good brother for the providence.
Okay.
So that's something that the media does all the time now with Watergate, and I fucking hate it. When they when some type of scandal happens, you just throw "gate" at the end of it.
Oh yeah,
so stupid.
It's like really dumb. Yeah,
yeah. It's like, someone did a bad thing in video games. That's not the same thing as the president recording.
Yeah,
guys, it's good for the news. Throw "gate" at the end of it.
And Watergate is a hotel.
Listen, next time someone throws one of those gates at me, I'm gonna go, you dumbass idiots.
Yeah, no. Next
The only
time,
gate you need is Colgate. Your shit's corny.
Ooh.
Your breath smells. Motherfucker, get out of here with your gates.
I could do a toothpaste sponsor. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, right?
Next time I write an article for the Washington Post about a murder, about a stupid scandal on Twitter or something, I'm calling it the Twitter Sheridan.
Very good.
Yes. The Ramadan murders.
So, unlike Watergate, though, Travis, the media is just like, oh, this is a current day version of Cain and Abel.
Right.
And that's how it spread across the land. That's how this story was introduced to everyone across the land. And the problem with this is, in the story of Cain and Abel, there was not an accomplice. So it fits the narrative. People started turning a blind eye to this probable accomplice who was Chucky Blood. Just because he didn't fit into the biblical story.
Well,
Gotcha.
They kind of like, did he have accomplice? Nah, it's Cain and Abel. It was just those two,
Right.
you know what I mean? He was kind of written out of the exposure because it was uncleanly to fit the square peg of CL Blood into the round hole of the Cain and Abel story. Because there's no
that makes sense. You
third party in Cain and Abel.
Yeah, so Cain sold fruit and Abel raped.
You can look at it like that.
And then Abel did not have a best friend named Lloyd CL Blood. That's different.
Chucky Lewis Blood.
I'm just having fun here. I mean, like,
Look,
I'm
and
going
we're
to say
drinking, and
Jerome
we're drinking.
again for no reason.
Jerome Harris. Anyway, a coroner was called into Rochester, New Hampshire. 2,000 people tried to like jam themselves in the courthouse for the hearing. It was a huge fucking thing. Sawtell was eventually, Isaac was indicted for the murder of his brother. During the investigation, one of the hoteliers recognizes a sketch of our boy CL Blood and literally says, like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. He checked in with a package wrapped in newspaper about the size of a human head.
Oh.
And it's just like, if you thought that when he was checking in, you shouldn't have let him check in. And B, what the fuck, man?
They could have been like, oh, this guy is obviously going to a local bowling tournament.
Tournament. Well, Travis, I mean, like, you could really confuse it up. You could turn it into a real faulty tower situation. Well, like, oh, no, this is just half of a watermelon I bought from definitely not the fruit vendor in question that will be brought up later in the story that I don't know why I just mentioned because now I'm in the pickle. And Sybil Faulty's like, would you put up the fucking moose heads, asshole? It just never makes sense.
Yeah.
This is how we kind of know Chucky's the idiot that wrapped the axe in newspaper, because it seems like that's his just like wrap things in newspaper. It's his modus operendi. Excuse me.
So
Yeah.
we've kind of got like the wet bandits here, right? Like, so the rapist is obviously Joe Pesci, and Marv is fucking CL Ugly, CL Blood. CL Blood, who's just like, oh, yeah, we need a mark. We need to wrap our shit up in newspaper.
Right.
We need to preserve the self-incrimination.
Yeah.
And Joe Pesci's like, nah, let's just have sex with your brother's body. I don't know. Let's continue here. Let's see where this twisted tale takes us.
On April 13th, Isaac released a confession admitting he plotted to bully his brother into signing over property that he didn't own. It's kind of like, keep in mind.
So the dumbest
Total
crime
idiot
ever.
move.
So even if he got away with the murder, he would have gotten nothing of what he was
said.
after.
He said murder was never a part of the original plan.
All I'm saying is that, is if he did succeed with that and get away with it, he wouldn't have gotten what he was after because it belonged to his stepmother, Clarice.
Exactly. His mother.
Oh, his own mother. Okay.
Yeah, his actual mother, the widow of the late father.
There you go. Cain and Abel. Maybe that story is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, murder. He confessed to attempting to bully his brother into signing over a $15,000 property. Murder was never a part of it, but Isaac said he left the deed to our subject tonight, Chucky, and the next day, Isaac received a letter from Chucky, a very spooky, grim letter that just All it read was, your brother had to be put out of the way. Let each look out for himself. End letter. So just a 2-sentence letter after, like, you imagine getting that letter after you hire some guy to, like, you know, schmooze your brother into, like, signing over property. And you're just like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, the letter also ended with LOL because he was on his laughing gas.
Lol, sealed with a kiss.
Oh,
so like this probable story comes up, like, oh, the laughing gas guy was maybe tried to drug the brother and then convince him to sign something over, and then he would use his clout as a doctor to cement that story, even when, you know, Hiram denied it. He's like, I don't remember signing that. It's like, I was there, you did it, asshole. It's like, never mind me pumping you full of nitrous oxide and lying to you. So, at the trial, the story changed. Not Hiram, excuse me. Isaac jumped on the grenade of the murder. He said, I actually shot him a bunch of times, and there wasn't a third party involved.
But, sir, your brother was stabbed to death.
No, he was shot. He was shot multiple times.
I kept those bullets coming. I just kept shooting.
And just so you know, the proper the number on it is everyone, locals in the area heard 3 gunshots on the night in question.
Right.
Well, yeah, there you go. And the torso did in fact have 3 bullet holes in it, so it lines up. But, you know, this like wild like soap opera thing, like Isaac redoes his story saying like, oh, I killed him. There's no other third party. And you can smell this is our boy Chucky doing his convincing magic on Isaac himself. This is more or less Chucky, I'm presumably saying like, hey, take the heat for this. That'll free me up to be to be and support your legal defense.
Right. Well, I'm a doctor. You obviously should take the fall because I'm a doctor.
Right.
Remember, you met me in prison? You can trust me.
Now, look.
What if you received a pizza and it was uncut? I can cut it for you using my head.
Yeah, so look, if you jump off this cliff, I just bought some new running shoes. I might be able to run down there and catch you before you fall. And really splat, make a mess, okay? Let's let you jump and I'll run.
Tom, perfect metaphor. It's like, that's a perfect metaphor. If you need any more elucidation, just replay the last 20 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Give me a call if you're hungry on the way. I'll stop and order a pizza. Call me. I'll get the pizza. You just worry about falling.
So Isaac was sentenced and convicted to death. And, after this sentencing, he publishes another confession that goes back on it. Because he's like, oh, he didn't help me. Now I'm going to fucking let me try and drag him down with me.
Right.
Dude, you always gotta milk the memoir. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Anytime you do anything, you should just milk them. Like, I went to fucking Taco Bell last night. I should milk a memoir.
So his third version of the story goes as such. Dr. Blood is the man responsible. Sometime it will be known, a deathbed repentance perhaps, and all is known, it will be found I am innocent of anything to do with murder. I've accused him, I accuse him now. If he had come forward, I would have accused him to his face. But why didn't he appear? Long story short, people didn't want a loose end in the Cain and Abel story.
Right.
So, he wasn't solicited.
Right.
Back to the quote. He didn't dare to. He didn't dare to face me. Now that I am practically dead, he can do what he pleases. He has had a chance to establish and prove an alibi. While I have been in jail, tied hand and foot, Blood was responsible in every way. I do not mean to say that he killed Hiram, that he fired the shots which caused his death, but I do mean that he knew of it and was responsible for it.
Wow, that's pretty damn.
So, yeah. And while he's in prison, Hiram does this last-ditch effort and reveals where the head is buried.
Not
the arms
Hiram.
are lost. Sorry,
Isaac.
Thank you, Travis.
Isaac.
Hiram's a fucking torso.
Hiram's a head.
Yeah, he's the head. Let's find the
head. They have the same last name, excuse me. Isaac is like, I'll show you where the head is. Go find the head. There's something interesting about the head. Go find the head. And he draws a map, and the authorities find the head.
Did he have one of those cute chokers on? Around the neck?
Yes.
Oh,
no.
That's so cute.
The thing that threw a wrench, or the monkey wrench Isaac attempted to throw into the mechanism, was the prosecution had its witnesses swear up and down there were 3 gunshots heard the night of the murder.
Right.
Blap, blap, blap. Sorry, I'm just
Upon finding the skull, a 4th bullet hole was in the head.
Oh.
So it suddenly doesn't make sense. Everyone's screaming, we heard 3 gunshots that night when they should have heard 4. So it's a very last-ditch, like, effort of a dying man to be like, guys, look, there's more to this story. Please keep digging.
Hey, guys, I only shot him 3 times, and then the other guy shot him in the head.
I thought he would have gone into his last moments on laughing gas, just laughing at him. When they dig up the head, he's smiling. And then all of a sudden, we cue the music as the drone pulls out to the song When You're Smiling by Louis Armstrong. When you're smiling, when you're smiling. And it's like, wow, that's weird true crime, right?
Yeah, this is just like when I saw Little Miss Sunshine on DVD.
It's just like that, which is not true crime. But a guy dies in that movie. So it's sad.
Yeah.
Alan Arkin.
Yeah, so it is true crime because the guy dies.
Oh,
Sorry,
I forgot. Ooh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
Any one time someone dies, you got to make a podcast out of it.
True crime.
So Boxing Day, 1891, awaiting execution, Isaac Sawtelle just dies of a stroke. Really suspicious. Some people think CL Blood, Chucky, our subject, snuck him a little opium to, as an escape clause.
That's not his bag, though.
It's not his bag, and the coroner, can take 2 seconds and be like, there's no opium in his system.
Right.
Like, he died from, a head bleed. So, with Isaac Sawtelle's untimely death, literally like 10 days before he was sent to hang, has a nice little stroke in his jail cell.
Nice.
That was it. Nobody wanted to talk to CL Blood. Everyone was so happy with this being a remix of the Cain and Abel story that no police officer ever questioned CL Blood, even though he was hoteliers said like, yeah, he was holding a fucking head in newspaper, I think. And the cops are just like, well, that doesn't make sense. Cain and Abel didn't have a third party. Fuck you.
Could you imagine that, being the prosecuting lawyer and be like, well, now the Bible, it didn't say nothing about no head newspaper inside of Faulty Towers.
They probably didn't invoke the Bible, but that was probably fueling the mentality to close this bitch up in a clean and relatable manner.
So 2 brothers don't like each other. They're going to kill it.
Yes.
This one's meaner than the other one.
And when it was all said and done, it had a pretty bow on it because the fucking poets began to chime in.
Oh, I love when poets have real world advice.
Yeah, right?
2 brothers in our town did dwell. Hiram sought heaven, but Isaac Sawtelle. Sawtelle's his last name. Someone's dead and the poet's cracking a joke. Good!
My God, there's a million dads right now rolling in their grave. That is the daddiest joke ever in a poem.
And mind you, this dad joke was made when most likely the real murderer was still in the wind.
Oh, yeah, that's some supervillain shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the dad jokes were probably better back then. I'm just saying, this is a great granddad joke.
They certainly were fresher.
Yeah.
Because there's no internet. So you couldn't burn out dad jokes on Reddit.
No. Even if
you had to burn out dad jokes from your dad.
Cody, even if there was internet, they were way more spicy back then. Those were the good old days of dad jokes.
Yep, that does make sense.
So all right, your boy, Charles Lewis Blood was done making dad jokes and done killing fuckers. He spent the last 17 years of his life trying to lay low and be a good little boy. So with that, how about you guys ask me how he died?
Yo, did this guy get pushed down on the ground by hippie mafia? Be like, you're selling this drug that I sell at shows. And they hooked the nozzle up to his mouth. And he laughy gasped till the end.
No, Travis. The musical group Fish did not exist back then, so no. Isaac Sawtelle died aged 73 in Manhattan on September 27th, 1908, after suffering a mystery illness for 11 weeks straight.
Wow.
There is something hilarious about a cure-all peddler dying from a disease that lasted 11 weeks.
Couldn't figure it out, man.
That's more poetic than that one poet that dropped that little like dad joke. That's poetry, my friend. The guy that sold a cure-all died of disease for 11 weeks.
You know what?
What's 11 weeks? That's almost 3 months, right?
This is why you stay away from the dirty water dogs. You know, I know they're really good. They taste great, but you never know what you're going to get when you're in Manhattan and you're chomping down in the middle of Times Square and there's all the show ladies, going, hoo-ha, let's have a great time. Look, Manhattan's a sick place. You want to get sick somewhere, you go to Manhattan.
All right, so Tom, I'm going to say if you ever visit Manhattan, anyone that doesn't live in New York, get the dirty water dogs.
No.
Go to Times Square. Buy the guy who's like, you want to hear my mixtape? Buy his CD.
Don't do it.
And then shake hands. Shake hands without a mask with Mario or any other licensed franchised character dressed up in Times Square.
Oh, God, I miss Times Square so much. What a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy, I mean, he could have solved his mystery disease with maybe a little bit of laughy gas.
A little bit, maybe. Or, what he marketed as oxygenized air.
He could have tried.
So, all right,
perhaps,
Cody, I don't know, maybe you're going to get to this with postmortem. So, so he was marketing this as a legit drug to for, maybe not
tuberculosis
the same.
patients.
It wasn't, they don't use it as a cure now. They use it as or they used it as an anesthetic or like a way to knock you out.
To this day, they still use it. Yeah.
Right. I feel like it's a little bit more rare nowadays when you get your shit done. But so where did this post-mortem, did it become an actual legitimate drug to use?
It was always legitimate. It was just never marketed as a cure.
Well, you said in the beginning it was just like a party drug.
It was a party drug, and then we had the dentist, Quincy Gardner, use it for medicinal purposes.
Oh, okay.
That's when our boy Chucky latches on and be like, hey, maybe I could sell this for tuberculosis instead of dentistry.
It was used at the same time throughout his life. But he's like, just take this funny stuff and you'll be good.
His dishonesty was he was selling an anesthetic as a cure.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Which worked in his favor because people felt great leaving his office.
Okay. But then
understandably.
Real people that were putting slaves' teeth in other people's mouths were using it legitimately.
As an anesthetic, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, post-mortem, our boy Chucky had brought so much shame to his family that his widow and 4 surviving sisters chose not to add his name to the family memorial. They buried him there, but they're just like, don't put his name where our family's buried. So big disgrace.
Right.
Not so much to a future video game developer, because there's actually a video game revolving around this guy.
Really?
Tony Hawk?
Yes.
Pro skater?
I think it's called Ultima Martian Dream.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jet Grand Radio.
It's kind of a point and click. He's a party member. Believe it or not, he's the healer party member.
Oh, okay.
It's nice and silly, I thought. Yeah, and his pixel art is ripped from his portrait.
Yeah, I want to see it. That's cool.
CL Blood.
Yeah, you're gonna see chlorine blood if you just Google that straight.
So
Yeah.
this is like a I'm gonna show my age here, but like Seventh Guest style video game.
I think so.
Okay.
He's in the video game as Dr. Blood. Yeah, this is an Oregon Trail looking fucking thing.
So this is what that boy looked like. He had that fucking that mustachio handlebar going on.
Okay.
Yeah, remember he's supposed to be a little bit of a dandy, little unkempt hair, but I'll also throw in the photo that must have been pretty much traced to yield that pixel art that I just dropped. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, so here's his actual portrait, and you can see the artist just traced. So yeah. So he's 6 foot tall, dandy, full head of hair his entire life. He kind of looks like it's kind of how I do my hair.
Nah.
So I kind of I related to him. That's how I let my hair go.
Right.
That's what I meant to say. Thank you, Tom, for keeping me on.
Well, he's styled. One of the things my dad always loved was those people that had wacky hair. The people that they style their hair to look wacky.
Yeah, I don't style my
shit. Cody, you just got wacky hair.
There you have him. Charlatan, con man, criminal, and just a huge fucking idiot in general. he proudly treated overdoses by administering an overdose, and he wrapped murder evidence in newspapers that were date-stamped, area-specific, and somehow evaded a murder charge, being the huge idiot he was. Rest in Greece, Mr. Reed, not Dr. Charles Lewis Blood.
Hell yeah, dog.
That's a fun one. Cody, this is good. You know, we dabble in true crime, which probably bumps our listenership about.
I didn't want to make it the entire episode.
Yeah.
Just a little hit of it.
Well, you know, a little bit, and you bump the listenership up like 200,000 listeners.
You're welcome.
Episode.
200,000. I've been back in New York eating a lot of pizza, so my tits are getting bigger. So our viewership should be bigger.
That's good.
That's
with
great.
the true crime. It's like a multiplier.
Right. It's a multiplier. You have bigger tits. We have crime now. How do I contribute? Oh, I have a dog.
Oh,
so
you have a dog.
Yeah, I have a dog.
There we go.
Okay. So
I owned a Siamese once.
Wow, dude. Okay, basically, Roast Mortem is the best podcast. We all know that.
Slavery.
And you know what? You're the best listener. Anyone who listens to the show, you're the best. Number one. If you don't, you're not obliged to, but check out the old patreon.com/roastmortemcast. We're officially moving our entire treasury to Dogecoin.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah, we're trusting Tom with some things in the future. So if you see a YouTube video of me naked screaming on like a municipal block for like, food stamps, blame Tom.
Yeah, Cody 2012, rather.
Dude, we're going to turn our platform into an Andrew Yang. We're just going to give each other blowjobs.
Right. So join the party. RoastMortemCast.com. Patreon.com/RoastMortemCast. Guys, rate and review us. Go on the old iTunes.
Yeah.
Talk shit.
Yeah, also, I mean, because if you listen on Spotify, you get ads all the time for their shitty shows. Share this around. You got friends? Be your own Spotify. Be like, hey, guess what? I am important more than this corporation. So show your friends this shit if you like it.
That's right. Word of mouth is number one. Get your friends to listen to the show. If they don't like you afterwards, they weren't a good friend.
Yeah.
That's true.
If you get canceled, it's not our fault.
Yeah. So with that, I will say this. Cody, thanks for your research. Travis, welcome back to Long Island. Listener, thank you, Shane.
Danky.
Donald!
What? Bye.
Donald Shane.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, we did it.